E360 TV proudly presents messages of inspirational stories. Live streaming now to millions of devices, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, with your host, Donna, producer and host, Jim Grant, producer and host, along with Michaela Vidal, administrator and host, and Gaia Ginwa Balconi Wada, editor-in-chief.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's show, all about pets we love. And as we sit in here talking to you, I have one of my faithful cats on my lap. Oh. She loves to lay with me and have a little mom time when I do the show.
Mm-hmm. That is so neat, because animals are a big part of our life. And a lot of times, you guys that follow us on TV, out there in TV land, you know how Dixie is with her wanting to, climb up on me. I'm down here. She's on my leg and on my feet and all that, scratching at me, not hard, but just pawing at me, getting my attention. And, they bring so much value in our life, and the unconditional love. My goodness gracious. We could all take lessons from our animals, couldn't we?
Well, not only are the unconditional love, Jim, but they bring health benefits. We've talked about that before. They help, they know when we're not feeling well. They, will hang around you when you're not feeling well, jump up on the bed with you. Of course, we have so many animals out there, both cats and dogs, that are service animals. There's all kinds of service animals. There's an emotional support animal. There's diabetes. There's epilepsy. There's, you name it, they're out there. And it's, as well as, of course, seeing eye dogs. And so that is a beautiful thing, and all that they do.
And I really love hearing about people who have small dogs that they have got cleared to be able to go into, old folks' home, I'll say that, and, visit with the old folks, let the dogs visit with the old folks for a little bit, a couple of times a week, and how, just how refreshing that is for them, because it brings back precious memories of, of their pets and stuff. And it's a nice distraction from the daily stuff, because not to sound negative, but I've, after I had to put my mother-in-law in one of those homes, I saw the way they would just, wheel them out in their wheelchair, some of them, and sit them out there in front of a TV, like they're a flower pot. And I'm going like, man, but I mean, what else can they do with them, really? And I'm not picking on them. I'm just saying that they're so overworked, there's not too much else they can do.
Right. And, a lot of big dogs are also dogs that go into their support animals that go into homes, because big dogs can just go up and lay their head right on the lap of people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or put a big gentle paw up and say, hey, I'm here. I love you. So we love our pets. But, Jim, I want to give a shout out.
Okay.
And I know you got one too. My shout out today is to all of the non-kill shelters for the animals. They have such an important mission. A lot of them are funded by volunteer only, especially in small town, small town around the country, around the world. They're funded privately, for whoever can give a donation. But they work tirelessly to go out and find the animals who are in need of rescuing, who are on the street, or who are ill, and that costs a lot of money.
Yes, it does.
It costs a lot of money, and they give them a chance. And even the ones like I just watched last week, I watched a video, Jim, of a little kitten that was just so dadgum cute. I just wanted to squeeze them all up. But he was born with deformed legs. So his legs didn't really bend, right? They were kind of set in place. And that cat pretty much hopped around like a rabbit from, and they got him from, a kitten, and he wasn't in pain. It didn't really impair his quality of life. Somebody had rescued him knowing that there was something wrong, and he found a home. He eventually could live his best life. And there was a picture of him, Jim, going up on a cat post, not really having use of his back legs, but it didn't stop him from his quality of life.
Not at all.
A super shout out from Jim and I and our staff here on Messages of Inspirational Stories to all the non-kill rescues out there in the world. Thank you so much for everything you do, saving these animals, one animal at a time.
Amen. I got to salute those folks. And if you folks out there in TV land, look around and see if you can find a no-kill shelter and ask them how you could be of service to them. You may not have much money. That's okay, but they could still use your sweat equity to go in there and do some cleanup and things of this nature, which would be very, very appreciated.
Right.
And not only by the staff, but also the animals. And I mean,
Well, and a lot of times when we do our, spring cleaning, if you will, in our homes, and we're getting rid of, say, towels that, are kind of ratty, and no use anymore, or blankets and sheets and such. Those shelters can use those, folks. They can use those.
They sure can. They certainly can. And also on Pets We Love today, because we love our pets, we want to give a shout out to some very, very, very special people. Not only do they have the heart that it takes to take care of people or take care of us in our hour of need, but I'm going to narrow it down to the veterinarians and their staff, because those people definitely demonstrate their love for animals. They have a passion for animals. That's why they go to vet school, and all the wonderful things that they do to help us in our hour of need when our pets are suffering or hurt or injured or something of this nature. So to all the veterinarians out there and the staff at each office there, thank you so much for what you do. And I'm going to mention the Brenham Veterinary Hospital, because they've been very instrumental in the lives of our pets. And I'm just going to call them after the show. And guess what? I talked about you folks on TV. Which reminds us, Donna, we have an email address, because if folks out there want to give a shout out to either a family member, a friend, a business, would you share with them how we're going to work that?
Yes, it's real simple. We do a Monday shout out, Tuesday shout out, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So our shout out, just whoever has inspired you in your life, or somebody who's made a difference, whether, it can be family, friend, somebody that you met, a teacher you met in passing who just really touched your life in some way. Email us at inspiration@e360tv.com, and one of our staff will get it out to us. Make sure, of course, you include your information, but we want to give a shout out to the people who mean everything to you in your hour of need.
And in return, we'll let you know what show it's going to be on.
Absolutely.
So you can let them know that you're going to give them a shout out on an international TV show, and we do it right at the beginning of the show, so therefore they won't be sitting there,
right, waiting for it.
Exactly, because we respect people's times, and we just really want to provide that avenue for you, because everybody likes to receive a pat on the back, or at least a thank you. I love you, I care for you, appreciate you, all those wonderful things. It's a great thing to do. We're very honored to offer this to you.
Absolutely. Well, Jim, I think I'd like to kick this off with one of my favorite books as a little girl, and it got turned into movies. And this is all about the lovable Benji.
Oh, that's a home run. That's a home run.
It's such a sweet, sweet thing. So Benji is, of course, a fictional character that was created by Joe Camp. He had been on the focus of several movies from 1974 clear through the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And it also became the title of the first film in the Benji franchise. Benji is a small, lovable, mixed breed dog with an uncanny knack for being in the right place at the right time, usually to help someone overcome a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Camp was the creator and director of the Benji film franchise, and his son Brandon Camp helmed the 2018 reboot film for Blumhouse Productions, which was released March 16th, 2018 by Netflix.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, there are so many of these stories, but Benji, oh my gosh, he was absolutely the cutest dadgum dog.
Yeah.
I swear he was so cute. And he would get into trouble too, right? They would think that he was in trouble. You know, he was doing something naughty back in the day because he was so smart. He knew who the good guys were, he knew who the bad guys were, and that he would just almost make a nuisance of himself until he got to the right person to help the situation.
Absolutely. When you mentioned Blumhouse Productions there, that reminds me of our guest tomorrow that we're going to have on Friday's show, Women in Leadership, is Monique Mamamo Kozlowski. Yes. And we've had her, this will be the third show. Time. Yeah. She was on 2 weeks ago today, Pets We Love.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week she was on the Mentor on Wednesday's show, Mentorship. And then on Friday, tomorrow, will be Women in Leadership. And the reason why I mention that is because, and we'll talk about this in just a moment, but her dogs have been in a lot of Hollywood movies. And her red pit bull, one of them, they had 3 in the movie. One of them, one of her red pit bulls was, you can see a picture of it, licking the face of Brad Pitt. Now, I got to stop right there. Donna, can you imagine how she felt as she's watching that and sees her dog? Because that's just done spontaneous. Can you imagine? Oh, my goodness. Because that dog is her baby. You know, all those dogs are a baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But at this moment, I'd like to stop just for a second and talk about you folks out there in TV land, what we're doing on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So you might know of someone that would like to be a guest on our show. Let us know. You can email us at inspiration@E360TV, because on Mondays, our show's all about the world of entrepreneurs, the home-based business. And it's really been a very popular show so far for us, hasn't it?
Right. It really has been. It really has been. We are really excited about our new fall themes. Really.
Oh, yeah.
Our new fall themes. So it's going to be exciting. So tune in tomorrow and you'll get to hear about from Mama Mo all about women in leadership. We're super honored and blessed to have her with us. But, you know, Jim, if jumping right back in real quick, you know, the thing about Benji is that he was actually found.
That's
the original Benji was found.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So, and I'm trying to find where it was. Here we go. Benji's life story. Let's see if I can pull that up. I don't know if I can.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and share what the rest of the week about is like on Tuesdays. That show there is all about finding health naturally. We bring in information and subject matter experts who are knowledgeable in the world of natural cures, natural health, foods, herbs, that sort of thing. So please tune in for that show. Then on Wednesdays, of course, our Wednesday program is kind of twofold. We can have young entrepreneurs. These are young kids that either started a business, they created a nonprofit, or they created a cause to solve a need they saw in their life, in their neighborhood, their community. And also on the flip side of that, that show on Wednesday is also for mentorship, because our youth definitely needs some good, strong, positive mentorship. We've got several organizations we're talking with that want to be part of that. One is the Boy Scouts of America, Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And let's see who else. Rotary International is wanting to talk to us about their youth program. So we're focusing in on that to bring good quality information about what people are doing out there for our youth. Then, of course, Thursday, this is our fun day. We love pets. So this was a natural for us. And, of course, Friday, right. Tomorrow, Women in Leadership. That's Women in Leadership explains it fully.
Absolutely.
And did you find the information you're looking for there on Benji?
Not yet, but I am searching right now. So if you could take the helm for a moment.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, since I've been talking a little bit about Mama Mo and the dogs there, my goodness gracious, I tell you right now, when it comes to the pit bulls that they have the red, they raise the red pit bull terriers, and a lot of pit bulls, they have the, well, let's be honest, dogs are a true reflection of how we treat them. And of course, that her and her husband, Matt, they treat their dogs with love. They're family members. In fact, when someone gets ready to adopt one of their dogs, they're interviewed to make sure that they have the right type of home, the right type of personality. And if you don't meet their grade, you do not get one of their dogs. That's how particular they are about their dogs. That's how much they love their dogs. And when it comes to the red pit bulls, a lot of people think a pit bull, oh my goodness. But a lot of people forget. In fact, I shared this with Mama Mo. She had to look it up when we were on the show. And she was surprised to find out that the original little dog that Spanky had on Petey was his name, had on the Little Rascals, the little white, black-eared dog or whatever, had the ring around its right eye.
Yep.
He was a pit bull terrier. And of course, that was a dog that everybody really, really likes. And the particular movie that her dog was in, she had 3 dogs there, and they played the one part of Brandy. And it was in Quentin Tarantino's show, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, involves Brad Pitt. And he was the main actor. And of course, they got pictures on the internet there about how, my goodness gracious, how those dogs, one dog licked his face and all that. And you can just imagine, how that made him feel. Plus, that particular dog, it won him in 2019 what's called the WAMIZ, the WAMIZ, WASMIZ, I'll call it, Palm, PALM Dog Award. And it's a yearly alternative award. It's presented to the international film critics from the Cannes Film Festival. And it's for, to recognize the best canine performance in the movies. And of course, her pit bull licking the face of Brad Pitt, that was, game over,
Right.
That's an amazing award. Very prestigious, too.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so I did find some information on our little Benji. Okay. Now, for those of you who, are older, you all know who Benji is. But for the younger audience, you might have to look him up. He wasn't very big. He was maybe, I'm going to say maybe 20 pounds tops.
Yeah.
At the high end.
Just a small terrier.
Well, no, he was a mix. It wasn't just
a terrier.
Mix. Oh, yeah. So he was believed, the original Benji was named Higgins. And he was found when he was still a puppy by the American animal trainer named Frank Inn at the Burbank Animal Shelter. And nobody knew the exact breed of the furry actor. So as many people assumed he was a border terrier, Frank Inn believed that the furry actor was more of a mix of miniature poodle, cocker spaniel, and schnauzer. Still, of course, nobody could confirm 100% of this Higgins type of breed. And back then, we did not have DNA that we do now for not only ourselves, but our animals. But he was believed to be born on December 12th in 1957. And after 14 years active and thriving in the entertainment business, he died shortly before his 18th birthday.
Wow.
So, He was the first Benji. And then, of course, there was Benji was often played by his offspring. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Opposite gender, Benjine.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third Benji was played by Higgins' distant relative. And the fourth Benji was played by a rescue dog adopted from the Humane Society of South Mississippi. Right? The success of the Benji franchise inspired Joe Camp's son, Brandon Camp, to create the reboot of the movie that is friendlier to present culture. The Benji in 2018 basically tells a similar story of the dog saving two school kids whom he formed a friendship. Right. And that's all about it. This dog was super friendly, super in tune with people, super loving. Right. So, if you're an animal lover or if you've forgotten about the Benji movies and you've got little ones at home, whether they be children, your grandchildren, whatever, that might be a great movie night to have with the little ones, right?
I remember back in 1980, there was a show. Was it Oh Heavenly Dog? I think it was. Anyway, Chevy Chase was the voice of Benji, and it starred. I just put it up there. It was Benji, billed as Benji. She was the daughter of Higgins, and Chevy Chase was in it. Jane Seymour and Omar Sharif. And again, it was directed by Joe Camp. My goodness gracious, because I wished I gotta watch that show again because I remember I loved it because everybody loves it when a dog can talk on a movie.
Right.
Oh, that was just classic.
Well, Benji never talked. I'll grant you that. He never talked, but he didn't have to because this dog, and the amazing thing was about the original Benji Higgins, and I remember seeing that movie back when it first came out. And the amazing thing about it was this dog had amazing personality. I mean, you could literally feel this little dog's energy through the big screen, right? He was something.
Yeah.
So, Benji, thank you. And all the Benjis thereafter, thank you for the years of entertainment and love and good wholesome movies.
I love the fact that one of them was a rescue dog, and
Many
down
of
the
them
line
were.
there. Yeah, I love that because just think they go from just being in a shelter to being a star. Oh,
right.
Amazing.
Love it.
Yeah, and animals have a way of stealing the show. They really, truly do. I mean, they become the star of the show because in Oh Heavenly Dog, Chevy Chase was the voice actor for the dog, but it was. I wish I could have. I should have looked at it or read up on it a little bit more before the show. I didn't think about it, but I remember I love that show. So definitely treat yourself and watch some of these Benji movies. It will touch your heart, and it's good, solid entertainment for kids. Because nowadays, a lot of kids, the entertainment they watch is not really entertainment.
True.
But we're going to leave that there. We're going to keep this on a higher level of the dogs.
So we have, it's kind of exciting, Jim. We have several animals in our research today to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So which one do you want to talk about next?
Oh, let's see here. Let me click on the information there. When it comes to, the Free Willy, those shows there, my goodness gracious. Oh, it's a 1993 American film. It's a family drama. And that show there, it talks about the orca, the male orca was captured in the Atlantic Ocean near Iceland in 1979. And he portrayed Willie in the 1993 film Free Willy. In 1996, Warner Brothers and the International Marine Mammal Project collaborated to return Kiko to the wild. After years of preparing him for a reintegration back into the wild, he was flown to Iceland in 1998 and 2002, became the first captive orca to be released back into the ocean. And, it's really amazing how when it comes to Free Willy, he became the star of the film instantly.
Well, of course he did. He was gorgeous.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I have to tell you a little story.
Okay.
I remember when that came out, I was living in Kansas. And, back in the day, of course, and even today, I mean, it hasn't changed. You don't
Hmm.
just spend money frivolously, right? When you've got children and bills to pay. But that was the first VHS tape I ever
Mm.
bought.
Really? I'll be
Yes.
doggone.
And I bought that because it was such an incredible movie. And I knew that it was going to be awesome for my children to watch.
Mm.
So Free Willy often became
Hmm.
a huge movie night for my kids.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and this show led
Oh yeah,
to other things. I mean,
other Free Willy shows.
yes, it did. Warner
Hmm.
Brothers and Craig McCall led to the establishment also of the Free Willy Kiko Foundation in February of 1995, and the donations from this it went into the millions. And the foundation, millions of children, the Oregon Coast Aquarium in Newport, Oregon, was given $7 million to construct facilities to return him to his health after he got sick. And it's just amazing how animals like this, who would think that an orca whale could generate that much interest and love? But yes, they can.
Well, the thing about this movie that aside from the movie just being wholesome and beautiful, okay,
Hmm.
about freeing him,
Hmm.
the, the storyline, as you said, went into finding him a better home for
Hmm.
real. And this was what was so interesting. The publicity from his role led to an effort by Warner Brothers to find him a better home. The pool for the now 21-foot long orca was
Hmm.
only 22 feet deep,
Hmm.
65 feet wide, and 114 feet long.
Hmm.
He was housed with bottlenose dolphins, but
Hmm.
no others of his own species. Now, they're very social animals. They live in pods, just
Hmm.
like dolphins do, just like, so many mammals do. Kiko was underweight for his size, but the water temperature was often too warm, which caused him various skin problems.
Hmm.
So, it was a beautiful thing that it came to be that there was the effort was came to lead him to back into the wild and to
Hmm.
integrate him, you know?
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
makes sense when you say that because he was found off the coast of Iceland, and that's not
right.
exactly warm water up there.
No, it's a touch chilly, I'm thinking.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to take a bath in, I can tell you that.
No, no, absolutely
But
not.
it
You
just
know,
goes to show you, you don't know what can, affect, an animal because who would think the temperature of the water would affect their skin? But it
oh,
did, didn't it?
absolutely. Well, think
Mm.
about us. I mean, we're mammals, so if it's too hot, it's going to burn us. If
Hmm.
it's too
Yeah.
cold, it's going to, we're going to shrivel up, and it's going to,
Hmm.
create issues within our internal organs.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it was a topic bringing him to the wild, Jim, of a lot of controversy.
I can believe that.
Uh-huh. And a lot of people felt that his years of captivity made such a return impossible. But
Hmm.
one of the things that people who said that don't understand is they just like I believe all of us energetically, we have a built-in memory.
Hmm.
We are born with it. I mean, we learn a lot of things as we grow, but there are some things, and I think we can all agree with this, we know innately. And I don't believe animals are any different, Jim. Why
Hmm.
is it that a dog, like my dog, who has never ever been trained to be a support animal, knew innately to come and lay his head against my chest, my up by my neck, when I was getting ready to have a seizure. Not
Mm.
not when I had it, but right before I had it.
Mm.
They innately know, and so they have that radar, if you will, right?
Hmm.
They have that radar to know what they need to know, and everything I've read and watched in documentaries, they are usually accepted back into their pod because they are their pods stay in that one area, and they know who belongs and who doesn't, family wise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. They have that unique ability of looking at you and being able to read you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell anybody I said this, but I think they can read you better than a doctor can by looking at you.
Well, yeah, it's the old saying, I trust my dog 1,000%
Mm-hmm.
and then some to tell me by his demeanor
Mm-hmm.
if somebody, when I answer the door, if somebody's good or bad,
Oh, yeah.
right? And I judge an awful lot by his demeanor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can pick up a lot of things there that we don't really pick
We
up
can't
on.
sense, right?
Mm-mm. We just don't have that ability. And that's what really makes it so neat and so precious about, the dog, because they can sense things. They really can.
Right.
And it's just amazing how, they have that unique ability. That's a gift that they bring to us. And it's just a gift that they have. And their love and their compassion and their willingness to lay everything on the line for you, including their life.
Hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
mm,
I
that is
watched
really
uh,
something.
I watched a little spiel, a little film clip, if you will,
Hmm.
and it showed some pictures put together in the storyline of a dog who had gone through, and I don't remember what kind of dog it was. It was a large dog, but that dog, there was a house fire,
Mm.
and that dog went back in the fire to save kittens, little teeny baby kittens that
Mm.
couldn't have been more than 7, 8 inches long.
Mm. Mm.
Yep. So, our animals are amazing.
Mm.
They
We're
are,
so honored and blessed to have them.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Jim, what about five of the most famous animal actors of all time?
I wonder who has the list out. I'll tell you who I loved as a kid, and that was.
I know who you're going to say. The first one.
Go ahead. Go ahead
No,
and say
you
it
say
because
it.
it's true. Yeah.
Nope.
Rin
I
Tin
knew
Tin.
it. I knew it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that dog. I mean, I used to
Yeah.
watch. I mean, wow, every kid that saw that show growing up,
Hmm.
everybody wanted a German Shepherd as smart and
Loving.
such a buddy, a
Yeah.
dog that was a buddy. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness gracious. Oh, Rin Tin Tin. My goodness gracious. I mean, that's just classic. That
And
is
he
just
died in the 1930s.
yes, he did around
Hmm.
32 or something. And
Yes.
he was actually born in France, it said, and he became a international star in motion pictures because that it's like we talked about Ben Haggerty last week.
Dan
And
Haggerty.
Dan Haggerty, thank you. And he was talking about Big Ben, Gentle Ben, and he was saying that people asked him about what it was like to work with the grizzly bear, like actually a Kodiak,
Right.
and it was a female, and he said, well, he says it's an honor. I really enjoy it, but everybody, they always ask me about the bear. They don't ever ask me about me. He says because the bear is the show.
Oh,
It's the star
absolutely.
of the show. And who
Mm.
would think that a grizzly bear from the Kodiak family would actually be the star of a show? Because a Kodiak's a big bear. The
They're a
males
little
can
large.
stand up about 9 feet tall,
Yeah.
and they are strong. But it being a female, and he was an animal lover anyway, so that animal was able to pick up on that and just really they had a real good rapport. But Rin Tin Tin became an international star in the
Mhm.
movies, and people have we will always have a special place in our heart for a good movie that has a dog in it.
Well, and it also says here that his um, they bred him, and one of his descendants
Hmm.
eventually starred in the movie The Adventures of Rin
Hmm.
Tin Tin. So,
Yeah.
his lineage, of course, is, still out there.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think Donna, he appeared in what was it, 27 Hollywood movies or
Something like
film?
that. Something like
Holy!
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
how many stars in Hollywood, human stars, would love to have 27 films to their credit?
Right. Right.
I'm about 28 short of that number.
So, one of my favorites, of course, was Flipper.
Oh, the dolphin.
I, I know, again, such a sweet,
Mm,
loving,
mm,
wholesome movie that had values that we still look for and seek today.
mm-hmm.
Because I believe, and my children would be the first to tell you, that manners and values never go out of style.
That's right.
But Susie the Dolphin, Flipper was a film that was released in 1963 and its spin off TV series running from the following year until 1967. While 5 female dolphins were used to portray Flipper, the most predominant was a bottlenose dolphin captured in the wild named Susie. The movie and the series were worldwide hits and created for the massive popularity of performing dolphins during this time.
Mm.
Susie eventually passed away a few years later, but her legacy lives on in the number of dolphinarians in the country today.
Hmm.
Yes. And
It's really amazing, how these, like I remember seeing, the Dolphins Flipper on TV, and you just, as a kid, you automatically think that's the way animals are like, everywhere. And in reality, that's the way the world was originally created. It truly was for us to have that type of a personal relationship with our animals. And I tell you right now, when that film was released, was it 1963, and it spun
yeah.
off a TV show? Oh my
Mhm.
goodness! I mean, I was glued to that. I was glued to
Oh,
that
yeah.
show. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why don't
And
you take the next one, Jim?
okay, this dog here is called Pal, Pal, the dog. Now, there was a total of 9 different animal actors. Notice how they refer to dogs in movies. They are animal actors because they're very, very trained and
And
they
they get
perform.
paid.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Wow, what a concept. Be on TV and get paid.
Hmm.
And 9 different animal actors played the part of Pal the dog, and they played the title role of Lassie over the decades.
Yep.
Pal is considered to be one of the most popular dogs on TV. And the original breakout role that Pal had was in Lassie Come Home, originally meant to go to a show dog. However, due to certain issues with that canine star, the casting directors chose Powell instead, and Powell captivated the audiences, and as well as his acting, as well as the production teams, and his ability. This what makes him his ability to shoot scenes in one take. Human actors can't even do that.
Nope.
They can't. I mean, you look at some of the eras that
Bloopers.
bloopers. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I mean, you kind of like, it's ridiculous. But shoot the scenes in one take. Now that's a pro. And that's what everybody loves. When you're shooting a movie, you don't want to be shooting the same scene over and over and over. And Donna, we've both seen these bloopers where people are supposed to say a certain line. And then, okay, all right, now I can say the line now. Okay,
Right.
action, and they can't say it.
Oh, right. Or they get the
Oh,
giggles or something.
oh, yeah. And Powell went on to be a star in 6 other Lassie movies. And oh my goodness gracious, when it comes to, dogs like that and their ability, I mean, he knew, Powell knew he was a star, the dogs that played him. knew they were a star and could do a scene in one shot. That just blows me away.
Absolutely. And this next one, I don't know if you've ever seen the animal, or I mean the
Hmm.
movie, but Steven was some very award-winning Steven Spielberg films. And this was about a horse named Finder. And he
Hmm.
starred in War Horse and Seabiscuit,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
he didn't, the animal actor that appeared in not one, but two Oscar nominated films,
Hmm.
right? And so that's hard enough for human actors to get, but the list gets even shorter for that with animals.
Hmm.
So when he starred in that, that's, they both became award winning Steven Spielberg films. It was Finder who performed the awesome jump over the tank in Warhorse, a feat that many critics thought was initially, and I'm not sure what this means, but to be honest with you here, but was initially CGI. Jim, help me out. Do you have any idea what that means?
CGI.
I
No,
don't.
I don't. I got to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I
Right?
don't.
I don't know why they have to put acronyms in a dadgum article. Not everybody's
That's
going
right.
to understand that. But
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you, I watched the movies, and that scene was horrific. It scared the crap
Hmm.
out of me. In fact, when we went to watch it, my husband said to me, he said, "Have you ever seen this movie, honey?" I said, "No." And he looked at me and he got
Oh.
real serious because he knows how I
Hmm.
am about animals. You know, I don't want the animal to get hurt or die. It's just me. I'm a big
Hmm.
baby that way. And he said, "Baby,
Mm.
it's a pretty tough movie. Are you
Yeah.
going to be okay watching it?" And I
Hmm.
said, "Yeah, I'll be okay." And he goes, "Honey,
Hmm.
I honestly think you're going to need some Kleenex." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh, well, great. Just get me started now."
I
But
just I
it was,
just found out what CGI stood for.
oh, what's it mean, Jim?
Computer generated image.
Oh, okay. That would have been
Yeah.
so hard to type out.
Yeah. Well,
But
people who do these.
that was a hell of a scene in that movie. I'm
Mm.
going to be honest with you because
Hmm.
I mean, that movie and Steven Spielberg, as we all know, is brilliant,
Hmm.
absolutely brilliant when it comes to
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
But that movie, sitting in my chair and watching that movie on our TV, I felt like I was literally in the front lines watching it.
Mm.
It was so well done. It was so well done. And of course, Seabiscuit, that was
That's
incredible. Hmm.
that's one of my favorite movies right there.
Yep.
Oh.
I've got several. It'd be hard pressed for me to pick a favorite movie. Another good one with horses is, oh Lord, uh, Sonia. They called her Sonia Door, but that wasn't the nickname that they gave her.
Hmm.
Um, I'll think about it in a minute and get back to you.
Okay. All right. Hmm. Well, one of the little guys that's I think everybody loves, you know, and that's monkeys. Because monkeys are some of the cutest animals on the planet. They
Yes.
really are. And Crystal was a capuchin monkey and the most successful animal actor of all time. This little monkey was in 5 films and has grossed more than listen up now, 1 billion with a B, as in Bravo, $1 billion. You're bound to recognize her because she was in the 1997 movie George of the Jungle. And she's just soared, shot right up to popularity all over the world due to her unforgettable role in the Night of Museum films. There was a series of
Oh,
those.
yes.
Ah, oh my goodness. The face on those little monkeys, I mean, they're just adorable. They really are. Her biggest role to date was a drug dealing monkey in the second Hangover film. And Crystal is loved by casting directors because they said she can perform her own stunts. Plus, they said she was fun to work with. What does that say about an animal's intelligence that can do its own stunts? The
Right.
ability to reason, the ability to understand. And all of these, you know, shows and TV shows and films we've talked about, these are some great, great films. These are great films for your family. These are great films for you, for
Right.
me, for all of us. And because of the quality of the genuine material that they share, the information, the compassion that
Hmm.
just stirs up within you. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to spend a rainy night or something like
Yes.
that, or a rainy day.
Little family time. So I found the
Oh yeah.
movie.
Okay.
So, okay, it's called Dreamer, and it
Hmm.
stars Kurt Russell, Fanning, David Morse, and Chris Christopherson. And it
Okay.
is an incredible movie. Now,
Hmm.
it isn't 100% accurate on Dreamer's life, but this is Ben Crane, who is portrayed by Kurt Russell, is a horse trainer who is struggling to connect with his precocious daughter, Dakota Family, and her name's Kale in the movie. But the horse, by the name of Sonyador, suffers a broken leg by its evil owner, David Morse, and races her despite Ben's advice. Rather than his client's injured horse being put down, Ben adopts her and welcomes Kale into the family business. They train Sonia Dore to race again as
Hmm.
grouchy but kind hearted grandpa lends his encouragement. That
Mm.
movie is, it gets me in all the feels
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
you've got this beautiful horse, this daughter who's enthralled with it, but the family dynamics, what it does, that horse brings, just quite frankly, a really torn and in many ways broken family,
Hmm.
and it mends them.
Mm.
It
Mm.
mends them back together. And that
Mm.
to me is everything. That is so
Hmm.
beautiful
Oh
and
yeah.
so worth the watch. So,
Hmm.
Donna's a five-star movie for the day. If you haven't seen Dreamer, if you haven't seen Dreamer, check it out. It's beautiful. I believe it's on Netflix, folks.
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes or so left, or maybe a little longer. But I just want to also share some more something about the Seabiscuit movie and the true life Seabiscuit, the
Oh,
racehorse. Oh my goodness, Seabiscuit was the poor man's horse.
yeah. Hmm.
It was not. He was not really looked upon as being having good breed stock. He was more of a, just a workhorse looking thing to the quarter horse experts of the day, and he was a long shot. But Seabiscuit in that movie, that I think it was Kurt. No, it wasn't Kurt Russell. I'll tell you here in just a moment, folks. Excuse me. It's Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
Oh, Jeff Bridges is one of my favorite actors. Jeff, if I don't know if you'll see the show or not, or if anybody will tell you about it, but Jeff Bridges, thank you for all the wonderful shows that you've created. I've really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Tucker, which is about cars. And we have cars we love, but this is not that day. This is not that program. But he plays the part of the guy that owns Seabiscuit. And
Right.
the entire story, I don't want to give the whole thing away, but the way that horse took a bunch of broken people and brought them together.
Right.
Plus, this horse was a superstar to the poor person because it was back during the Depression.
Well, the other thing, Jim, and I'm
Hmm.
no horse expert by any stretch of the
Hmm.
imagination, but even I know Seabiscuit was a tiny horse.
Yes, he was.
Seabiscuit was
Hmm.
only 15.2 hands high. Now,
Hmm.
most racing horses are big, right?
Hmm.
They're a lot bigger. So
Oh, yeah.
he was a little, if you will, little tyke. He was the toy racehorse of the track compared to all like War Admiral. War
Hmm.
Admiral was huge.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see if I can find it on here.
Yeah. And War Admiral, uh, Jeff Bridges, I forget the name of the part that he played there as Preston. I think the guy's name was Preston, whoever owned. No, Charles Howard. He was the guy that owned Seabiscuit, but he was able to convince the owner of War Admiral to race against Seabiscuit. So
Hmm.
you had that big northeastern money, and you had this little oddball looking small. They referred to him as kind of like a little Western pony.
Right.
And so here you had the little blue collar poor boy horse going against the big money establishment.
Well, and also by lineage.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
War Admiral was sired by Man of War.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
Right.
so Man of War was a pretty hefty horse.
Mm-hmm.
And he was well renowned for his racing ability and his physical fitness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can't help, you got to win with a horse like that, with that bloodline, And when Seabiscuit beat him, oh my goodness, that was a victory for the people who were suffering, the people who were hurting during the Depression. Because Seabiscuit was born around 1933, so it was in the mid to late 30s. I forget the actual year that they raced, but he was the horse that the average person could reach out and embrace.
Right.
It was a horse for the people.
In fact, around that race, people came in, the people who couldn't afford, to go to the racetrack, to pay the admission to get in. They swarmed all around that track and would get up on their cars or whatever just to see the horse, to see the horse race.
Yeah. And the story itself, I don't want to give too much away for you folks that haven't seen it, but the story itself, it would just keep drawing you in, and in. It's a great movie. Oh my goodness gracious! Oh, all these animal shows, and I just wish Donna and I could put on a TV show half as good as these animals could.
Absolutely. We'd hit it out of the ballpark every time if we could.
Oh, I mean to tell you.
I love it. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, before we close, we'd like to remind you again, if you'd like to give a shout out to someone, a family, friend, a loved one, whoever it might be, a business that's, that's going the extra mile for you, or just, someone that, and you just want to give them a shout out, please email us at inspiratione360tv. We'll be glad to do that first part of the show. And we will let you know what day that we will do it on, or if you have a specific day you'd like for us to make the announcement on, just let us know. We can do that for you. It'd be our pleasure.
Absolutely. We want to be able to honor you for who honors, for who's in your life and who brought you great joy and just wrapped you in love in your time of need.
And tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have Mama Mo Kozlowski on our show, and this will be our third time on the show. And I'm just going to say this: you're in for a treat. I first met her. We were co-authors in this book here. Austin Haynes invited us to tell our individual story. This is your health turnaround story, because each one of the authors in this book had something to contribute. And mine, of course, was Lessons from the Heart due to my heart attack. And of course, Monique, she wrote about her troubled life and how she rose from the ashes. And I mean, the thing that really gets me about her is her love and compassion. And when you see her beautiful face, and I mean that in a very complimentary way, you see the light in her eyes. You would never, ever, ever think that this poor young lady went through the trials and the tragedies and the abusive relationships. And she openly admits being raped and stuff like that. You go like, my gosh, bless her heart. I mean, it just really touches you. And for Donna and I, her to be a friend to Donna and I, it's our honor.
It is.
And for us to have her on our show. And originally, Donna, we just, as you might recall, we asked her, says, okay, we got different, programs each day. What program do you want to be on? She says, can I be on 3?
We're like, yeah, of course you can.
Yeah. Because by knowing her through this book and being on a couple of shows with her and several Zoom calls promoting the book and all, we knew what she was made of. We knew what she brought to the party. Right. So our time is gone, Donna. Good gracious.
It is.
I wanted to talk about my pet parakeet today, and I didn't get a chance.
Oh, well, we'll save that for another day, Jim.
I did have a pet parakeet. It wasn't around the house too long. The only thing that really made an impression on my mother is she was trying to clean the cage. It got out and it bit her, and parakeet didn't stay around long after that.
Oh, goodness.
Be sure and love yourself first, and make sure that you love others and forgive yourself. As Donna likes to say, be sure you love yourself enough to give yourself.
Lots of grace, folks.
Amen. Amen. We'll be back tomorrow with Mama Mo Kozlowski. Be sure and tune in and follow us on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, because with Mama Mo here tomorrow, Monique Kozlowski, you are in for a treat. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.